Congratulations on your purchase of a Yamaha Waverunner watercraft. Hello, I'm Mark Oliver, and I'd like to spend a few minutes helping you get a basic orientation to your new Waverunner. Riding your watercraft safely and responsibly is dependent on proper riding techniques, common sense, good judgment, and the experience of the person operating your craft. So, before operating your watercraft for the first time, carefully read your owner's operator manual, the riding practice guide, the riding instruction card provided with your craft, and review all the warning labels attached to your Waverunner. The video presentation you're watching now is an additional way for you to receive important information necessary for the safe and responsible use of your new watercraft, but it does not replace the manuals or labels. As the owner of the craft, you are responsible for everyone that operates your watercraft. So if you're allowing others to operate your watercraft, also have them read the manual, practice guide, and riding instruction card, as well as all the labels on your craft. If possible, also have them watch this video. Also check your state and local boating laws before operating your watercraft. Yamaha recommends that the minimum recommended age to operate a personal watercraft is 16 years and older. Some states have different requirements. A boating safety course is also recommended and may be required in your state. In any case, a responsible adult must supervise a minor operating your personal watercraft. Each Yamaha Waverunner has a capacity label. Don't exceed the maximum weight or number of persons shown. Riding with a passenger can change the way the personal watercraft handles. You should have considerable practice riding alone before you begin riding with passengers. Take the time to become accustomed to the handling with passengers before trying any difficult maneuvers. Remember, fun on the water begins with common sense and good judgment. When operating your watercraft, scan constantly for people, objects, and other boats. Operate defensively at safe speeds. Do not follow directly behind other watercraft or boats. Do not go near others to spray or splash them. Avoid sharp turns that make it difficult for others to understand where you are going. Do not jump wakes or waves, as you could collide with another boat or impact your body on the watercraft. In some states, wake jumping is prohibited by law. Also, you should not operate your watercraft in rough water, bad weather, or when visibility is poor. As with any water sport, you should not ride your watercraft in remote areas alone. If you're riding further than swimming distance to shore, you should be accompanied by another boat. Never ride in water that is less than 2 feet deep. You increase your chances of sucking debris into the jet pump or hitting an underwater obstacle and injuring yourself. And don't operate your watercraft after sunset or before dawn. It's not equipped with the lighting required for night operation. And ride within your limits. You and any passengers riding with you must wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved personal flotation device, also known as a PFD, and it's the law. Type 3 PFDs are generally the most comfortable and popular among watercraft riders. Check the label on your PFD to make sure it's the proper type and size. In addition to wearing a properly fitted PFD, you must wear a wetsuit bottom or clothing that provides equivalent protection that'll help protect you and your passengers against internal injuries to body cavities, such as the rectum and the vagina, from falling into the water or being near the jet thrust nozzle. Normal swimming attire may not adequately protect you. A full wetsuit can also help protect against hypothermia and abrasions. Along with wetsuits, wearing water shoes can help protect your feet from objects hidden under the water, and gloves can help protect your hands from abrasions. You may want to consider wearing sunglasses to reduce effects from wind, water, and sun. You may find, however, that eye protection distorts vision. If you wear prescription lenses, you should consider ways to secure them from falling overboard while riding. A helmet could help protect in certain kinds of accidents. You should also know that a helmet itself could injure you in some other riding conditions. Read your owner's manual for more information before you decide whether to wear a helmet when you ride recreationally. You and your passengers should always keep both feet on the footrest floor when the watercraft is in motion. If you lift your feet, you increase your chances of losing your balance, and your feet could hit objects outside the watercraft. The passenger should hold on firmly either to the person in front or the passenger handholds, if provided on your watercraft. Never allow a passenger to ride in front of the operator. Also, do not give a ride to a child whose feet cannot reach the footrest floor. And if you or your passenger is pregnant or in poor health, check with your doctor and ask if it's safe to ride. And please, never operate your Waverunner after consuming alcohol or drugs. Keep in mind that law enforcement officials can stop your watercraft at any time to inspect your safety equipment, such as your fire extinguisher, and to check that you have your registration certificate and proof of education if required in your state. Law enforcement officials can also check your watercraft's noise levels, which is a good reason why you shouldn't attempt to modify your personal watercraft. Modifications may reduce the safety and reliability of the watercraft and may make your watercraft illegal to operate. Along with the Coast Guard approved fire extinguisher that most state and local boating laws require you to carry, Yamaha recommends that you also carry a sound signaling device, visual distress signals, a watch, and tow line. Before you launch your watercraft, you should always do a series of checks to make sure that the throttle and steering are moving properly. Follow the pre-operation checklist in your owner's manual. To start your PWC, attach the engine shutoff cord, which some also call a lanyard, to your left wrist, and then to the stop switch on the watercraft. Push the green button on the starter switch. To stop the engine, press the red button or pull out the shutoff cord. Keep the cord free from the handlebars so that the engine stops if the operator falls off. Remember that your watercraft will not start if the shutoff cord is not attached. Removing the cord is the best way to prevent accidental starts. As you start the engine, be aware that there is no neutral position, so the watercraft will start to move somewhat. Okay, now that the engine is started and we're leaving the beach, keep a sharp lookout for boats, swimmers, and other objects in the water, and keep a safe distance away. Avoid tunnel vision by constantly looking all around to avoid potentially hazardous situations. Remember to always apply throttle to steer. Personal watercraft are water jet propelled. A jet pump and impeller are directly connected to the engine, and the jet thrust created by water moving through the pump and out the steering nozzle pushes the craft. The amount of jet thrust and the position of the handlebars determines how sharply you'll turn. More throttle produces higher thrust, so the watercraft will turn more sharply. Less throttle produces lower thrust, so the watercraft will turn more gradually. Releasing the throttle lever completely produces minimum thrust, and as the watercraft slows, your ability to steer the watercraft rapidly decreases until you apply throttle again or you reach trolling speed. Practice turning in an open area without obstructions until you have a good feel for these maneuvers. If the engine is stopped while riding, there is no thrust. The watercraft will go straight even though the handlebars are turned. Watercraft are not equipped with a separate braking system. They're stopped by water resistance when the throttle lever is released. From full speed, the watercraft could take up to 360 feet to stop, depending on many factors. See your owner's manual. If you are not sure that you can stop in time before hitting an obstacle, apply throttle and turn in another direction. If your watercraft is equipped with a reverse function, do not engage the reverse to slow down or stop. That may cause you to lose control, be ejected, or impact the handlebars. Instead, use reverse for slow speed maneuvering, such as docking. Most three-person watercraft with mirrors are capable of towing water skiers and wakeboarders. Just as riding with a passenger takes extra skill, pulling a water skier takes additional skill too. If you are going to pull a skier or wakeboarder, make sure the watercraft is equipped for a rear-facing observer with appropriate floorboards, handholds, tow cleat, and room for at least 3. A spotter should be on board to watch the skier. The observer should face to the rear while holding the side rear grab rail with his or her feet placed firmly on the footstep for proper balance. And be aware that the skier's ability and water conditions can affect the way your watercraft handles. You should be comfortable carrying passengers before attempting to pull a skier. Make gradual turns. Sharp turns require a high level of skill for both you and the skier. Keep an eye out for obstacles and approaching boat traffic. Yamaha recommends against towing other boats or bulky items, but if you must in an emergency, ride slowly and watch out for obstacles in the water and approaching boat traffic. Just as there are rules of the road when driving a car, the U.S. Coast Guard has developed a set of navigation rules, or NAV rules, to help boaters of all types prevent accidents. In fact, they're often called the rules of the road. Here are some specific rules that you need to be aware of when operating your watercraft. Right of way. Whenever 2 boats on the water meet one another, one craft has the right of way. It's called the stand-on vessel. The boat that does not have the right of way is called the give-way or burdened vessel. These rules determine which boat has the right of way and what each boat operator should do. The boat with the right of way has the duty to continue its course and speed, except to avoid an immediate collision. When you maintain your direction and speed, the other boat operator can determine how best to avoid you. The boat that does not have the right of way has the duty to take positive and timely action to stay out of the way of the stand-on vessel. Normally, you should not cross in front of the boat with the right of way. You should slow down or change directions briefly and pass behind the other vessel. You should always move in such a way that the operator of the other vessel can see what you're doing. The steering rules. There are 3 primary situations you may encounter with other boats that could lead to a collision unless the steering rules are followed. They are meeting. For example, you're approaching another vessel head-on. Crossing. You're traveling across the other vessel's path. And overtaking. You are passing or being passed by another vessel. Meeting. If you're meeting another vessel head-on and are close enough to run the risk of collision, neither boat has the right of way. Both of you should alter course to avoid an accident. You should keep the other vessel on your port or left side. Crossing. When 2 boats are crossing each other's path close enough to run the risk of collision, the vessel that has the other on the starboard or right side must keep out of the way of the other. If the other vessel is on your right, you must keep out of its way. You are the give-way vessel. If the other boat is on your port or left side, remember that you should maintain course and direction, provided the other vessel gives you the right of way as it should. Overtaking. If you're passing another boat, you are the give-way vessel. This means that the other boat is expected to maintain its course and speed. You can pass on either side of the boat you are overtaking. You must stay out of its way until you are clear of it. Likewise, if another vessel is passing you, you should maintain your speed and direction so that the other boat can steer itself around you. Avoid riding close to shoreline homes and waterfowl nesting areas, and keep a respectful distance from fishermen, other boats, swimmers, and populated beaches. Remember that pollution can be harmful to the environment. Don't refuel or add oil where a spill could cause damage to the area around you. Remove your craft from the water and move it away from the shoreline before refueling. And please, don't litter. For more information and boating tips, contact the United States Coast Guard, Office of Boating, Public and Consumer Affairs, or you can visit our website at yamaha-motor.com for other helpful resources. Well, that's it. Thank you very much. Have fun, and please ride safely.
Hello, my name is Ron DeLobby. I'm with the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Our primary mission is marine safety, and we accomplish this by conducting boater education courses for boaters of all experience levels. Many states now require that owners of personal watercraft complete a boater safety course. Studies have shown that boaters who complete this course are less likely to be involved in boater-related incidents. Please keep in mind that the United States Coast Guard and other law enforcement agencies consider your personal watercraft a boat, and you are responsible for complying with all of the federal, state, and local regulations that apply to recreational boating. Education, common sense, and good judgment go a long way towards making your time on the water more enjoyable for you, your family, and those who share the water around you. For more information on boater safety classes, please contact the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary at www.cgaux.org or call 877-875-6296.
Now we're going to introduce many of the different features offered on the many variations of Yamaha Waverunners. Please refer to your owner's manual for the specific features offered on your particular model. Certain model Waverunners are equipped with the RIDE system, which stands for Reverse with Intuitive Deceleration Electronics. The RIDE system controls forward and reverse operation on these models, automatically setting the jet nozzle reverse gate in the forward, neutral, or reverse positions, depending on the operation of the throttle lever on the right handlebar and the ride lever on the left bar. When the engine first starts, the reverse gate moves to the neutral position, which will balance the forward and reverse thrust to keep the Waverunner from moving. But keep in mind, some movement may occur due to the direct drive propulsion system, which means when the engine is running, the jet pump impeller is turning, and of course the Waverunner may move due to wind or water conditions. When the throttle is applied, the reverse gate automatically moves all the way up to the forward position, and the jet thrust will move the Waverunner forward. To move the Waverunner in reverse, release the throttle lever and pull the ride lever. The reverse gate automatically moves to the reverse position. The ride lever also controls engine speed, depending on how far you pull the lever. Just pulling the lever a small amount moves the reverse gate to the reverse position and sets the engine to a slightly higher idle speed. If you need more reverse thrust, pull the ride lever further, which will increase the engine speed. If your model also has reverse traction control, the engine speed will be limited to the most efficient RPM for reverse. When you release the ride lever, the reverse gate moves to the neutral position. Alternating application of the throttle and ride levers seamlessly moves the reverse gate between forward, neutral, and reverse, making docking, maneuvering in tight spaces, and loading and unloading the Waverunner from a trailer very convenient, all without removing either hand from the handlebars. If the ride lever is squeezed when the throttle lever is squeezed, the watercraft will slow down and, once stopped, move in reverse. Although the RIDE system does provide some deceleration force, it's very important to note that the RIDE system is not provided as a safety device to avoid a collision. The best way to avoid a collision on the water is to change course using the throttle lever in combination with steering, as usual on all watercraft, rather than using the RIDE system to decelerate. Certain model Waverunners have an electronic jet nozzle trim system, which controls the vertical angle of the jet thrust nozzle. The trim system allows the operator to trim the bow of the Waverunner up or down to suit their handling preference, based on the load on the craft and water conditions. The up and down trim buttons are located on the left handlebar switch assembly. The left side of the gauge shows trim position. The system only works when the engine is running, and for about 30 seconds after the engine is shut off. Some Waverunners have a manual jet nozzle reverse gate controlled by the shift lever on the right side of the deck just below the handlebar. When the shift lever is pulled all the way outward to the reverse position, the reverse gate lowers all the way, deflecting the water forward under the boat, and the thrust will move the Waverunner in reverse when the throttle is applied. Some models equipped with a manual shift lever also have reverse traction control, which limits the engine speed to the most efficient RPM for reverse. Moving the shift lever all the way in returns the reverse gate all the way up, and all the jet thrust moves the Waverunner forward. Before riding the Waverunner, operate the shift lever several times to make sure the operation of the lever and the reverse gate is smooth throughout the entire range, and that the reverse gate moves up and down according to the position on the shift lever. Also, make sure the reverse gate makes contact with the stoppers in the reverse position. Some manual shift models have the Quick Shift Trim System, or QSTS, which allows manual control of the vertical angle of the jet thrust nozzle, adjusting the trim angle of the watercraft. The QSTS system should only be used when the engine speed is below 3,000 RPM. Squeeze the QSTS selector lock lever and turn the selector to the desired position to trim the bow of the Waverunner up or down to suit handling preference based on the load and water conditions. There are 5 positions: neutral, 2 bow down, and 2 bow up positions, which are displayed on the gauge. Make sure the QSTS detent locks in each position when turning the selector. Many Waverunner models feature the Yamaha security system and low RPM mode. These systems are set by the remote control transmitter, which should be stored in the holder inside the forward watertight compartment on some models, or